Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to Astrology Saturday with your host with the most, Chad the Maverick. I am very excited today. Today is a beautiful day. Today is a lovely day. The reason why today is such a lovely day is that this is the astrological new year. So happy astrological new year. This is the spring equinox today. This is leading us into the next steps of our lives. I mentioned before during the New Year's time frame how, in my opinion, as an astrologer, the new year truly begins on the spring equinox when Aries season begins. This is when the wheel starts for the first time. This is what ends up having us go forward for the rest of the astrology once we start seeing from this point. So, happy astrological new year to you all. Very excited. Spring equinox. This is a beautiful day for new beginnings, right? And what I'm saying with this is that really suggest everyone to really just tap in, hone in. This is the springtime, and since it's the springtime that has just begun, I know daylight savings was just recently. There's more light into the air. This spring equinox is actually the day of the year where there's equal day and equal night. So with that being said, we are heading into a beautiful new space where there's going to be more light coming in, and there's more light for the collective as well, not just physically, not just outside, but actually within ourselves as well as a collective energy, right? I think everyone's going to be getting a little bit more brighter, a little bit happier perhaps, right? Someone asked who else has been gardening today. That's actually super dope. And I actually suggest people to, if you can't garden yourself as far as like start a garden or anything like that, use today as a time frame of like what seeds do you want to plant for you to look at for next year, right? Now, we're in a really interesting position. And the reason why this is such an interesting position is because if you all remember, because I remember very vividly, but last year, when it was the spring equinox, is when we all went on lockdown. So once it was the first day of Aries season, Saturn just hit Aquarius for the first time, and we all went on lockdown. So we've kind of been in like this year time frame of all of that. Now, mind you, although we've had a lot of hardships all as a collective, very obviously throughout this whole entire time frame. My love goes out to everyone who has been affected, impacted, or anything along the lines of that. Really hope that everyone is doing as well as they can and getting into the next steps forward, moving forward. So, like I'm saying in this regard, we're encapsulating, right? Everything that we have brought together within the last year, right? And one thing I kept mentioning when it comes to this this like quarantine time frame, to this like, people not knowing what was going on, everyone had to kind of retreat into themselves, which is something that as a society and as a world, honestly, we haven't been able to do in a extremely large amount of time, right? So because everyone had to like go in, people started to go in. As a lot of people may notice within the last year, a lot of people have become extremely spiritual within this time frame. So there have been people that have always had the gift or always had the hunch, right? But because of this last year's time, they've actually been able to launch themselves into this spirituality. A lot of you could be watching this right now, right? And we're all in this forward motion of getting together as a deeper collective. And the only way we can get together as a deeper collective is if we all recognize ourselves and who we are and what makes us an individual. And that's what's really going to be akin to this Aries season that is coming up, right? This is a whole new beginning. This is a whole new everything else, right? So before I get a little bit more into this, allow me to say hello for y'all who just came in. My name is Chad the Maverick. Chad the Maverick across the board for all social media and etc. If you want to find me, I'm the in-house astrologer here with House of Intuition. Appreciate you all for showing up. I also teach classes as well. I teach astrology classes, usually Mondays, Wednesdays. I've been doing tarot though recently as well. So I've been teaching the Tarot 101. We are going into our next class next week on Monday, which is going to be about the minor arcana. We just finished up Astrology 101 and Astrology 102. So I very much appreciate everyone who has shown up for that, everyone who was there for that. It was a blast to be able to like teach you all the astrology from the ground up. When does Aries season start? Right now. like now, if I'm not mistaken. I would check on my like phone, but like it's literally today. Like today is when Aries season begins, and that's the spring equinox that's launching us forward into this astrological new year, which I will be breaking down a little bit more in just a moment, right? So, someone said that they had a lot of misunderstandings and haters lately. Is this a part of this? Absolutely so. Thank you so much for that lead in, because I was just about to talk about where we're coming from and where we're headed to, right? So when it comes to this, right? When it comes to uh 1 second. Registering. We're getting, see what I'm saying? Like, I think watch how I did that, right? We're like moving forward into like this next thing. A lot of us are like, yo, what? And the reason why this is like so discombobulated, we're just coming out of Pisces season. And Pisces season is literally the like it's about the emotions. It's about your spiritual nature. It's about your heart. Venus has been in Pisces for a long time. So it's about like really diving into like the fullness of your spirituality, the fullness of everything along the lines of that, right? And so because of this, right? And because of last year and because of this Pisces season wrapped up all of the energy from last year into what's going to be coming up next, right? Not to say everything from 2020 is 100%, 1000% over, but I will say we are in a whole entire new saga of what's going on in your life, right? So whoever you've become, and here's the way I'm going to put this like this, right? This is my Aries energy speaking with this, but whoever you've become within this last year's time frame is now who you are moving forward. Like that's who you are, right? So all of those times, the things that you were able to recognize in yourself, the things that you were able to tap into, the new talents, your creativity, anything along the lines of that. If you've been working on something for a long time, you've made exponential growth, or maybe you have just been working on something for a short time, but you've been really starting to love it. This is all akin to who you are, right? And it's really important for you to actually be watching this right now. And I'm really not just saying that, but it's really like activating, like we're heading into a whole new chapter. So what do you want to bring with you, right? And a lot of doing a lot of things that you might have thought that you were going to bring with you into Aries season, into this astrological new year, have been null and void within the last 2 weeks. So there's been certain things where you've been like, yeah, I really want to take this there, and you've like, and like your emotions have been like kind of cradling and kind of been like showing you everything else along the lines of that, right? Someone said, I don't know why that made me cry. Yo, this is real. Like, this is really what we all have been experiencing, right? Pisces season is literally washing away. So if you have been emotional, if you haven't cried, like, do not feel bad about that. That is legitimately a part of your situation in order for you to get tapped into you, right? So if you've been experiencing, like I said, these last things, these all these weird energies, if you've been getting more tapped into your spirituality, if you've been seeing more things that you've been on the lines to, that's perfect. That's good and well. And the reason why that is because you're going to now embody those things. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm talking about. And like I said, Aries season is really going to be akin to your character. Who are you? What do you identify as? Who, if someone asks you who you are you going to say your name, or are you going to say your soul, right? If someone asks you like what do you do, it's like, are you going to say what your occupation is, or are you going to say what you put out into the world, right? These are the differences of like what we're heading into as a collective, right? And the reason why we're heading into this as a collective is because it starts with you. You get what I mean? It starts with you. It starts with your initiative as far as what you're trying to push into, right? Should we look to the spring equinox to let past issues go? You need to look at the spring equinox as if the past issues no longer like worry you. The past issues no longer dwindle you. You've dealt with that the past 30 days, right? The past 30 days, and not even more before that, we had eclipses, we had all that. We have been working through so much stuff as a collective in this last year. And I think this astrological new year, I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of like, I really think that there's going to be a lot of people coming into their own throughout this year, like truly coming into their own as far as like knowing that. And as a society, we haven't been as, let's say, around each other to get the positive things some of the time, which sucks. So we haven't had the personal interaction as that. But on the flip end, right, we haven't had those personal interactions where people would judge people, or people would be like on some negative or try to portray this. Like, we've all been in the same type of situation for the past year. So people are now like, okay, who are we, right? And this is what this Aries season is about. Who are you and what are you going to be pushing forward, right? You're not the same person that you were last year, right? There's no way. There's just no way. Like, I joke about it a lot, but there's just literally no way. You have advanced as far as who you are. So if you've been confused this last week, if things have been emotional this last week, you're just literally closing out a chapter of your life. And like, I know it sounds like real boom, but this is actually how prominent this legitimately is. So it's like I said, we're heading into a really interesting time frame, heading into a really interesting week. So I am going to be breaking down the weekly energies for you all in just a moment. But yeah, so here's how I'm gonna start this, right? Like I said, chat Maverick across the board. If you want to find anything like that, please check out the Classic with House of Intuition. Please make sure you sign up for the new moon and full moon ceremonies that we have as well, because I teach those courses. It's all through Zoom. It's literally an hour long, $10 a piece. I end up explaining everything that's going on for the collective. I break down the astrology. I show you the astrology, tell you what it means, and then after that, we actually get cards for all the signs. So your sun, moon, and rising, all 12 zodiac signs. And for the collective. So there's a message for everybody in those new moon and full moon classes. The new moons are more about manifestations, and the full moons are more about releasing and allowing these energies to kind of like work through. But I explain all those in those courses. So if you'd be interested in that, please be sure that you sign up at House of Intuition on the classes tab and do that. Are the past classes available too? They are not yet, unfortunately, but we are working on a solution for that, like currently. So be on the lookout. Be sure to still sign up for the classes as this time's going on right now, because we have a lot in store. So be sure to like check those out. But yeah. Are signs afflicted differently, or is it the same for all? Okay, this is a good question, right? So all signs are going to be differently, right? And for the people that are more advanced or have been coming to my classes, you'll understand what I mean when I say this. If not, and you don't understand and you would like to know what these type of things mean, please be sure to pull up to the classes. I do like to teach a lot. Just taught astrology 101 and 102, and it's a great time. We always have fun. I hate boring classes, so I always try to have fun with it, and I hope that you all do as well. With that being said, right? Affected differently, the same for all. So all signs are going to be affected differently, except for the fact that the collective are all going to be affected a certain way, right? So I speak when I do these live streams, when I do the tarot, I speak on the behalf for the collective. I speak for all 12 signs of the zodiac when I do those type of things, right? However, you specifically have something different that'll happen depending on your chart, right? So if you have Aries in a certain sign or a certain house, those energies, if you identifying yourself in that position, will happen in that area of your life. So if you have like a 6th house Aries in this Aries season now, then your 6th house would be like you're going to be coming into your own in your daily lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? These are the type of things that are making the differences and the shifts when it comes to that regard. So that's a great question, but that's like the differential between it. But I always break these type of things down in the classes that I do, so be sure to pull up to those. And like I said, reach out, say what's up. So let's get into this next part. So like I said, Aries season, a lot of things changing, new beginnings, for real new beginnings. Like not on some like, oh, it's a new, like legitimate new beginnings, right? What about rising Aries? Rising Aries, everything I'm saying applies to you twice as much. That's all I have to say. Like it literally does. Just because of the way the astrology works. So just pay double attention for that. But regardless of this, right? Now, when it comes to this season ahead, we have the next day that's happening tomorrow. We have Venus going into Aries, right? So with Venus going into Aries, we're having a new situation where our hearts have been in this emotional realm, right? Our hearts have been very connected to like the soul and love and like ideals of love and etc. Right now, Mercury's on Pisces, and so that's another conversation, and that's also happening. But the whole idea behind this is that this energy, these feelings, are starting to like actually become what you know that you like, right? Venus and Pisces is all about like the romance. Venus and Pisces is all about that. And then like Venus and Aries, and when you really step into the things that you like and you're like, yo, I want this part of this, right? You know what I mean? Like beforehand, it's like you're exploring. You go to that restaurant, they give you this sampler menu. I don't know if they do that anymore, but they go to the restaurant, they give you like the sampler menu, and they're like, hey, here's like these different 12 things. Try whatever that you want. Like take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that, see what you like. And so this is the time frame, and I know this is like, you know, a good example, but Uranus is in Taurus, so it makes sense. But the whole idea, right, is that like when you start to see what you like from those little 12 samples and stuff, you'll be like, ooh, but that rice was good. That was good. That was good. I want those things. And now I want my entree. So I hope it didn't make y'all like super hungry if that was the case. But the whole idea behind this is that it's like because of this, because of this being said, now you know what you want on your plate, right? Like you know what you want on your plate, and this part, what's on your plate, is going to be the parts of you that you like and want to take forward with you. And because Venus is in Aries, this is what you love. So what do you love that you want to take forward with you in that regard? What do you like actually resonate with as far as your like actual insight in order for all that to come in? Someone says it all comes together. Yes, this is why like watching and knowing the astrology, you can literally end up seeing how these cycles work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I really try to strive to do and teach you all when it comes to like these live streams, et cetera, just so you can see how this works and you can apply it to your own life, because that's ultimately what it's about. The stars are going to move. The stars basically akin what energies are going on, but it's up to us to take those energies and then do something with it, right? Like you can have like the most beneficial transit, and it's like, oh, you can go ahead and be a millionaire if you just took a chance and you like went and got that lottery ticket or something like that, right? But if you're like, oh, I have the potential to get the lottery ticket, but like I'm just gonna stay inside today. Next thing you know, someone else went there in that same store, got the same numbers that you would have got, and then got the mega million. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you gonna do when you step into that? You get what I'm saying? So that's what this is about. And I know this is very like, what are you gonna do? But this is the Aries energy, right? Oh shit, we got someone here from Russia. Shouts out to the people watching from Russia. Shouts out to the people from around the world who end up watching these live streams as well and pop in and everything along the lines of that. Much love to everybody around the world. I like every place. I need to go to certain spaces. So we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I'm a Sag. I gotta move everywhere. But the whole idea, right, is that we're getting into this new thing. Someone asked about like charts and stuff like that. If you want to reach out and ask anything to me like specifically, just feel free to go to Chad the Maverick. I just want to be sure that I like I convey the rest of the message to you all without getting like distracted or sidetracked. But when it comes to this, right, like I said, this is an embodiment. And so throughout the week, we're going from, and even if we look at the moon phases, right, the moon is going from, right now the moon is in Gemini. So it's going to be going into Cancer by like Monday, Tuesday, then into Leo by Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're ending off the week with it in Virgo, right? So this whole week is very much about breaking down and encapsulating, right? We are encapsulating essentially going from the beginning to now. Like I said, there's a lot of current energy that I'm trying to explain, but this whole idea behind it is that it's going from you feeling like and speaking on this, right? Mind you, and it's 222 on the East Coast for y'all. But the whole idea behind this, right, is that getting into the idea of the moon just passed over the North Node. This is another point that I wanna break down, because this is gonna show you why everything I'm saying, why this is so critical, why this is actually working, right? Because when we get to this, we're looking at the moon just went over the North Node. The moon is the moon, obviously. Well, all about our emotions, all about our intuitions, right? The North Node is about our destiny and what we're pushing forward. Mars is also with the North Node. So Mars is our actions, right? We've been recently speaking more. We've been recently getting more in communication with each other. We've been actually getting a little bit closer to like being a little bit more out and about. I know there's like a lot of people that are on a healthier tip. A lot of people have gotten like their vaccine, et cetera, et cetera. So people are now being able to like kind of gather a little bit more, right? Or speak a little bit more to one another. Obviously still staying safe and et cetera, despite everything else. But people are starting to like, and even not even that, just due to camaraderie of like online communications, people are starting to really like come into that and being like, oh, what's up, Fran? Or, oh, what's up? And they're just like getting into like new conversation, right? So with this North Node being here, this is activating the truth that you are able to have. And that's what has been happening throughout this moon in Gemini. We're about to end that off soon. So then when we go into the moon in Cancer, I got you right now. Someone said talk about Cancer, and I just was talking about the moon in Cancer. Say less. So we moving. So with the moon in Cancer, when that's going to be going through, right? Now we're going to be like, okay, we know what we want to talk about and communicate. So now, but one last check. How do we feel about these things, right? And this is like the last check of how do we feel. We just got out of a season that is all about feelings. We just got out of a season that is all about like the emotions, all about the, everything underneath the lines of that, right? So now it's like, okay, we need to get this final check as to like what we're doing. This is that final check as to like what we're moving towards, emotionally, sensitive wise, psychically, even for those who are in tune, right? This is going to be like kind of showing you what makes you comfortable, what do you need around you to make you comfortable before you launch off into the scene, into the public space, which is what? The moon in Leo, which is coming in the middle of the week. So Wednesday, Thursday, the moon being in Leo, this is you stepping into that like, you know what? Yeah, this is me, right? I feel like when the moon hits Leo, is when it's really going to start to feel like it's Aries season, because with that fire that's coming in, it's going to be like, where it's the spring, where I'm outside, where, staying safe, obviously. But, hey, I'm in nature, hey, I'm doing this. Like, I feel like a lot of that energy is going to start, like, coming in. You'll even probably see, like, I know personally looking at, like, social media for the past, like, couple months, social media has been super sad the past few months as far as just, like, everyone's just on the just on like a like weird tinge, or just But I feel like coming into this, you're gonna even see just throughout the collective, throughout the things, even I would say on the news, but I don't want to say that. But regardless, things are gonna start to get like a little bit brighter, a little bit up, right? So now with this, like I said, Moon and Leo portion going through that part, that's when that's gonna all happen. Then we get at the end of the week with the moon going into Virgo. We have we're getting into now, we're gonna learn the technique, right? Virgo is all about technique. It's a SpongeBob reference, but regardless, like the technique of things. So if you have a certain sense of technique or method to the madness. There we go. That's what I actually want to explain. So, perfect. That is exactly what I was trying to say. So, by the time the moon hits Virgo, you're gonna start to learn the like quote unquote method to the madness, but not the method to the madness, the method to yours, right? And the reason why this is because Aries, like I said, is a very like ooh type of energy, right? Leo's gonna start getting people like back in their bag in a good way, right? Back in their like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. Back in their like go-getter type of energy a little bit, which is going to be really cool to see, because like I said, a lot of people are like going, a little down with that. But the whole idea with this is that with the moon ending off the week, or after at the end of the week with the moon in Virgo, we're getting to that technicality. And by the time we get into that, I will be talking by next week, the next live stream that we do. I'm going to be speaking about what's it called? When we get to the next live stream, it'll be the moon in Virgo at that time frame. So I'll be explaining the moon in Virgo then, and the moon cycle is moving on forward for the upcoming week. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And the Astrology Saturdays, I've been doing this every week for a long time. So with that being said, be sure to follow up. It just keeps getting bigger and better. It keeps getting greater with y'all being able to interact and see this and like share with people and like showing love. And I really do appreciate the love. I do see all your comments. I do see all the love. I can't respond to everything, or else I will just be social hour. I have to just get through this stuff, but I do appreciate the love. Like I said, if you want to like say what's up, etc., Chad the Maverick across the board. That is where I'm at. But regardless, right now. I'm not explaining specific signs right now. I was talking about the moon signs making their moves through. So when I was talking about the signs I was just talking about, I was talking about the moon. And how the moon is moving. And since the moon is moving that way, everyone is getting affected that way. So if you have that a sign there, so if you have like, so when I was talking about the moon in Cancer and you are a Cancer, that goes 10 times as much for you, right? If you have like a Leo placements, and I was talking about that part, that goes 5 times the amount, just because Cancer is the home ruler sign regardless, but still like 5 times the amount. Like there's like literally it makes it more impactful for you if you have energies in those signs when I explain them. So that's pretty much what's going on there and with that, right? So, and yeah, someone said Virgo, moon, and rising. So when I was talking about the moon and Virgo at the end, when I was talking about that technique, you're going to be the one that's already has your technique crafted and already has all the specifications of like what you want to go for. Like you're already going to have that done just organically, right? But that's what I mean. And then everyone else is catching up by the time the moon hits that. So, and like I said, this is a deep thing and I'm breaking down like a lot of a lot of stuff here. But the main purpose of this live stream, if you've gotten nothing else from this live stream, if you've got nothing else from this, is that one, be sure to check out the classes at House of Intuition at LA.com. Hey, check out the live streams and all that. Hey, check it out. Hey, anyway, but outside of that, but on the real though, if you got nothing else from this live stream though, this is a time frame that's a new beginning for you. This is the astrological new year. Who is this new year? Who is this new you? How do those two things intertwine? You get what I'm saying? Like, if this is like, if you did not do a New Year's resolution or correction, if you did do a New Year's resolution and it didn't work during January for whatever reason that case may be, that is because we were in Capricorn season. And to be very real with y'all, when it's Capricorn season, Capricorn isn't wanting you to do something like new and everything else like that. Capricorn is like, so are you capitalizing off of everything that you did since last Aries season? Like, that's what Capricorn season is about. So when you try to do something like new and like resolution wise for that time frame, and I get that it's technically New Year as far as the Gregorian calendar and etc., but the whole idea behind this is that we're getting into this next phase of things. So if you have a New Year's resolution, right, I would suggest that you like revamp it for now, right? Or if you never did one, start to like kind of go at this mindset for that. And like, I know it's funny, but like on the real, like that's really what's happened. Like, so if you didn't, for whatever purpose, whatever reason, that's part of it. You get what I'm saying? So now there's no excuses now. You know what I mean? What are you going for? Like there's no excuses in this regard. This is a call to action. I'm just saying that, but regardless, I mean, hopefully this is actually one for you. I mean, I'm really just trying to tell you about the astrology of the weekend, keep you guys in good spirits. But even myself, this energy that I've been kicking off, I have Aries energy. So even with this whole idea there, like this is coming through. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the way that's all working. We are entering the astrological new year, legitimate new energy, legitimate new things coming up. Venus is coming into Aries tomorrow. That's all about the love. I think I got to every major part of what I was trying to convey. I don't think there's any other shifts going through the massive catalog of astrology dates and things in my brain. What's that? No, they were good. Actually, yeah, we're good. So this is, like I said, breaking down what's coming up for the week. If you want to read more about this, I put there's blogs up that I wrote on HOI's website. So if you want to, they're at the pretty much at the bottom of the website. If you scroll all the way down, there's a blog post about the astrological new year, everything along the lines of that. But yeah, outside of that, appreciate you all for showing up to this. I think I might be like a minute early or something like that, but on the real, I think there's nothing else for me to really say. Like, we really got into this like new year, and to be honest, I definitely suggest people to like honestly go back and like listen back to this on like IGTV just to like hear this again. To be real, so is this time to go through with it? Yes, 100%. Aries season, you have to push everything forward. Mars and Aries, that just see, I knew I had more. Mars and Aries, right, from last year, from March to like November, right, was literally making everyone like, one, mad. Everyone was mad. Two, everyone was very like at each other, very like, you know, there was just a lot of like going on throughout the whole thing, right? But by all that oomph and all that anger and all that everything else like that, people started to learn what they actually like cared for, in a sense. And now instead of like fighting for it like you might have been then, you already like you've almost like gained that experience of now. So it's like you've gained that experience of sticking up for you. You gained that experience for sticking up for what you feel. And now this is you just being that. Instead of like trying to go for it, this is you just doing it. You know what I mean? So that, if there's anything else, just go for it. If there's something that you want to go for, something that you want to push forward, highly suggest you do so. But yeah, appreciate you all though for showing up to this lovely live stream. I appreciate the love and everything else like that. That's kind of mad funny. But appreciate you all for that. Appreciate all the love and etc. Thank you all so much. And until next time, have a great one. Happy New Year. And the best to your manifestations, intentions, and everything along the lines of that. I'll be seeing you in class. Peace. Have a great one.